Now at 5, 4 lives lost in the blink of an eye.
We are tired of it over here. We're tired. And all over Indiana, not just over here.
4 young adults gunned down in a northeast side apartment complex. The police, community, looking for answers.
We have been putting handcuffs on and throwing people in jail for hundreds of years, and yet we still have crime. That's not the answer. Now, there are people that have to go to jail, and we're going to put them in jail. But we also, as a community, have to look in the mirror and address the issues that led us here.
As police look for those responsible, the mayor says this sadness will be turned into a community call for action.
Nothing said by any of us or anyone outside this room does anything to help our young people unless it leads to action.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Stop killing us. Let's stop killing each other. There's got to be a stop somewhere.
She heard the gunfire. Only later did that woman learn 4 people were dead in the northeast side apartment complex where she lives. Frustration at the loss of life yet again. Now at 5, the violent start to 2020 shows no sign of stopping in Indianapolis.
And tonight, Metro Police are trying to find whoever is responsible for gunning down 3 men and 1 woman last night just before 10:30.
We now know the names of the 4 victims. The Marion County Coroner's Office identified them as Marcel Wills, who was just 20 years old. Braxton Ford and Kamari Hunt were both 21, and Jalen Roberts, age 19.
This happened on Shady Oak Drive in the Carriage House East apartment complex. That is near 42nd Street and Mithofer Road.
We have live team coverage tonight. We start with RTV6's Megan Sanctorum, who is hearing what city leaders are searching for in ways to keep this from happening. She's live downtown near police headquarters tonight. Megan.
Well, local law enforcement leaders say they're trying to do everything they can to prevent something like this from happening. But some say it will take more than prayer and policy, and they say they can't do it alone.
It hurts because it's so unnecessary.
IMPD Chief Randall Taylor reacting to the quadruple homicide, saying this act of violence hits especially hard.
The youth of the victims, the number of victims all in one spot. Definitely don't want to get your public, especially your young people, used to having these kind of things happen around them.
But exactly how to prevent them from happening in the first place has yet to be answered. Mayor Hogsett created a director of community violence reduction position. Shauna Majors says her team of paid staff members go into neighborhoods and talk with people living there about issues they may be having and resources that are available. Majors says her team has been to this apartment complex to do outreach work before, but it's been a while. She says the city can only do so much, and she's calling on the community to step up and get involved.
I always say talent, time, treasure. Whatever you can give towards making a difference, but you have to do something. Sitting back and watching everybody else or complaining about what's not being done, it doesn't help anybody.
Chief Taylor echoed her plea, saying the focus needs to be on young people.
We all say that back in the day, if you got in trouble, someone was going to tell your parents, before you even got home, because people were willing to be involved. I think we've missed that. And I understand people are a little intimidated maybe by speaking or talking to kids that they don't know, but I think that's going to be part of the solution in there somewhere.
Coming up tonight at 6, we'll have more from local leaders and what they plan to do to combat the violence and one specific change they might make in light of this case. Working for you, Megan Sanctorum, RTV6.
There has already been 1 prayer vigil at the scene today. Around midday, the IMPD chief, members of the IMPD command staff, and clergy members gather to remember the victims and pray for an end to the violence. There will be another vigil at the apartment complex tonight, and RTV6's Stephanie Wade continues our team coverage from where that vigil will take place, the Carriage House East Apartments. Stephanie.
Amanda, people will be back out here shortly again for that second prayer vigil. But besides that, I can tell you not many people have been stepping outside their homes today. Neighbors telling me they're sick of this. They're tired of hearing gunshots in the middle of the night, only to wake up the next day to 4 people murdered just next door. As one community advocate explains, people need to have value and believe their life and others are worth living.
be sad, you know, of course mourn, but at the same time use this to be motivation for all of us as a community to come together and help fix this issue.
Growing up on the East Side, graduating from Warren Central High School, Sharday Hoskins is working to make a change. But she says with the lack of quality food, jobs, and schools closing in the area, fighting crime is an uphill battle. Gunshots, a familiar sound for people here. Wednesday night's quadruple murder, marking Indy's 24th homicide, just 5 weeks into 2020.
It's generational, so this is all they know. A lot of the people have been residents of this area for a long time, and maybe they don't see their way out. Myself, I'm here to tell you that you can get out. There are resources to help you, and I want to be a part of that for you.
And that vigil, again, will begin here tonight at 6:30 at Carriage House East Apartments for the public to honor the 4 lives lost. We're live on the Northeast Side. Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Stephanie, thank you for looking into that for us. And we have been tracking the violence in Indianapolis and have an interactive map on our app and the IndyChannel.com where you can learn about recent cases of homicide that have happened in your neighborhood. If you have any information on any homicides, please call Crime Stoppers. That's at 317-262-TIPS.
Now let's get your Storm Team 6 forecast, and it has been a day with snow showers. It was treacherous for some people on the roadways today because we did have some slick spots overnight.
I think there were, I lost track of the count, but 160 some school delays this morning. And this is why, here's a shot up in Lafayette of the snow. And
look at that.
Students can handle it. You know, when you're walking to class and you don't have to get out in the car, it's a different story, right? I think maybe one time when I was at Purdue from 83 to 87, did we ever not have class, and that was because of Arctic cold temperatures. So Purdue covered with snow, and we've had snow showers throughout the day today. This is at my house, and I just kind of used the backdrop here of the pine trees just so you could see the snow showers a little better. At times, limiting visibility, as you know, in the spotty, heavier snow showers. Not much happening now in the southern half of central Indiana. We go to the north. These are all lifting to the northeast. I think the intensity and coverage for the next several hours, probably through midnight, will continue to diminish. Temperatures will hang in there in the upper 20s. We'll watch the bridges, overpasses, and as we get into the evening hours, I think some slick spots redevelop. Again, I think after midnight, we'll see light snow showers returning, especially eastern half of the state. We'll talk about how much accumulation we may see overnight, and then another opportunity for light accumulating snow in my forecast as well.
We'll see you soon, Kevin. Thank you. Today, family, friends, and members of the racing community gathered in Indianapolis for the funeral of veteran racer John Andretti. The hearse parked in front of the St. Peter and Paul Cathedral was adorned with checkered flags. Mourners streamed into the church throughout the morning for visitation with John's wife, 3 children, and his parents ahead of the funeral mass. We saw many members of the racing community, including Eddie Cheever and Scott Goodyear, Roger Penske, Chip Ganassi, and IMS President Doug Bowles. The family requested no cameras inside. Well, during the more than 2-hour service, John's uncle, Mario Andretti, and one of his sisters were among those addressing the crowd. 2 of the pallbearers you see were his cousin Michael Andretti and Michael's son Marco. John was Marco's godfather. After the funeral mass, the procession to the cemetery made a stop at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, a place John knew very well and raced at many times. With snow gently falling, the hearse and 2 family cars took a slow lap around the 2.5-mile oval. The scoring pylon was lit again today in John's memory, as it was last Thursday, the day he lost his 3-year battle with colon cancer. John Andretti was 56 years old.
Surrounded by his allies, President Trump celebrated his impeachment acquittal and aired his grievances about the process. ABC's Serena Marshall shows you the points made during the president's hour-long speech today.
What was expected to be a celebration for President Trump one day after he was acquitted in his Senate impeachment trial turned into a rant against his political opponents and the process.
We went through hell unfairly, did nothing wrong, but this is what the end result is.
Part celebration, part airing of grievances, using an expletive.
It was all bull.
To blast Democrats.
These people are vicious. Adam Schiff is a vicious, horrible person. Nancy Pelosi is a horrible person.
And praising his Republican supporters, singling out many in the room.
And Mitch McConnell, I want to tell you, you did a fantastic job.
As for the lone Republican senator who crossed party lines, voting to convict him of abuse of power.
As a senator juror, I swore an oath before God to exercise impartial justice. I am profoundly religious.
The president accusing Mitt Romney of hiding behind his faith.
You have some that used religion as a crutch. They never used it before.
And when it comes to remorse, he offered an apology to his family for the ordeal. But unlike President Clinton, who apologized to the nation, President Trump doubled down.
I call it a perfect call, because it was.
Even though many in his own party disagreed.
It was wrong for President Trump to mention former Vice President Biden on that phone call.
As for the House Speaker, she continued to defend the process.
He's impeached forever, no matter what he says or whatever headlines he wants to carry around. You're impeached forever.
And while impeachment is over, the president faces another fight next month. The Supreme Court hearing 3 cases involving subpoenas of his financial records. Serena Marshall, ABC News, the Capitol.
Now to Democracy 2020 and the race for the presidency. And 3 days after the Iowa caucuses, we are still waiting for the final results of that vote. But with 97% of the precincts reporting, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders are nearly tied. Next up is the New Hampshire primary on Tuesday. But today here in the Hoosier State, Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett helped Buttigieg supporters file the necessary paperwork to get his name on the ballot for the mayor primary. The May primary. They delivered the required signatures to the Secretary of State's office.
Pete's ability to identify innovative solutions, Pete's ability to work across party lines, Pete's ability to give hope to all those disaffected with the status quo is exactly what our state and our country need right now.
Other Democratic candidates who have already filed and are on the May primary ballot: Joe Biden, Michael Bloomberg, Tulsi Gabbard, Amy Klobuchar, Bernie Sanders, Tom Steyer, Elizabeth Warren, and Andrew Yang. And on the Republican side, President Trump and Bill Weld have qualified for the May primary. The deadline to file is noon tomorrow.
Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, encouraging women to take care of their health, especially our heart. We have one woman's inspirational story, how she changed her life one goal at a time.
The road to the Oscars goes through Indianapolis. The Heartland Film Festival included some of 2019's biggest movies. Coming up, see how the Circle City is becoming a big player during awards season.
And snow in the forecast on a couple of occasions. We'll talk about how it may impact your weekend coming up.
Spend your tax refund.
A wide variety of films from all over the world will be represented at this Sunday's Academy Awards.
And many of them have a link right back here to Indianapolis. Brad Brown joins us with a look at Indy's Oscars connections.
Thanks, everyone. When you think of the world's big film festivals, you go with Sundance, Venice, Cannes, Toronto, and perhaps Heartland. Indy's Heartland Film Festival has grown into an A-list destination for movies hoping to garner some big-time awards this Sunday. Several movies that had a prime spot here could be walking away with Oscar gold.
Original screenplay, the members of the branch nominate. Marriage Story, Noah Baumbach.
As the list of Oscar nominees came together last month, the staff at Heartland Film grew more and more excited with each category.
Oh, we love it. Like I said, it's my Super Bowl. It's just an amazing, fun time of year. Whether you have an office pool, you're just rooting for a film that you love, or you do all the research and try to do all the trajectories of this film won here.
Greg Sorvig has seen the Heartland Film Festival grow from a regional movie showcase to a big player on the world's cinema scene. 2019 was a banner year. Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood earned Tom Hanks a Best Supporting Actor nomination. It made its U.S. debut at Heartland as a special opening night screening.
It's interesting to see the trajectory of films, but we're very fortunate. I've pulled some strings. We had some of our own movie magic out of Toronto, but that's going to be the recipe from here on out.
That's pretty brilliant. 3 of the 9 movies nominated for Best Picture played here. Marriage Story was another of Heartland's showcase films. Jojo Rabbit and Parasite were both additions that showed off the growing diversity of the festival's offerings.
Do you think there's an element of the studios looking at kind of this Midwest audience saying, if we can succeed here in October, when we go wide in November and December, we might really have something on our hands here, like some of those
those movies you mentioned.
Yeah, I honestly, I think that's the special sauce, because at the big industry festivals, you're playing for the industry. You're in line, there's an executive from HBO here, there's another programmer from XYZ Fest too, but here you get a true response. And I think we have reps from studios that like, how did that film play here? And then we give them notes and they are genuinely interested.
Heartland's Indie Shorts Summer Festival has become an incubator for award winners. The top films here earn automatic qualification into the Oscar nomination process. 5 shorts that played last summer in Indy are among the 15 nominees.
But it's fun. I mean, you can make a film, get Oscar qualification, or just make the festival circuit and be absolutely not known anywhere to being an Oscar winner nominee within a year. It's pretty wild. It's just a great time of year. We try to balance the films that are going to be big, hopefully will win Oscars, with the films that you've never heard of, true independent films too. It's a wide spectrum.
Here are some of the films we mentioned. 5 short films will be representing all 3 categories: animation, live action, and documentary. 3 of the 5 documentary feature nominees played at Heartland, including For Sama, which won the grand prize here last fall. Parasite, Jojo Rabbit, and Marriage Story are up for Best Picture as well as Best Screenplay. Heartland is already accepting films for this year's festivals. They had more than 1,800 submissions for 2019. Indie Shorts will take place the week of July 21st. The 29th Heartland International Film Festival opens October 8th.
Thanks, Brad. RTV6 is your home for Oscar Sunday. Red carpet coverage starts at 1 o'clock and continues at 6:30. The Oscars will begin at 8, and we'll have a recap of the night for you Sunday on RTV6 News at 11.
We saw some snow today. It's definitely like February.
You see that?
That's right.
Yeah. So, I don't know the history behind this. I think it's Kyle's. I found it in the weather office. So
well,
what he won an Oscar for, he can tell you, Amanda, during the now here in the next half hour. We'll see. 28 with some light snow and flurries. Nothing of real significance, but our temperatures obviously below freezing. They're not going to change much. They'll drop another degree or 2, perhaps. That wind is cold out of the north. We're duty bound to talk wind chill temperatures here in a minute. Notice what's happening. We're drying things out temporarily. I think we'll see a decrease in the snow showers, maybe put an end to them for a while. Still squeeze out a few flurries, but I think they come back after midnight. Let's play the game of temperature and wind. Temperatures 28 in Indy, 26 in Tipton and Peru, 30 in Bloomington, but you factor in what is a cold north wind. It's not all that strong, but 10 miles per hour, drawing in colder temperatures and making it feel like the teens. Feels like 17 in Lafayette, 19 in Indianapolis. Temperatures through the overnight hours will just slowly change. So what we're really getting at here, Con, is the walk won't be for that long. Robert Robinson sending in this picture. Love those ears. I've got Con's undivided attention. If you want me to take your dog for a walk during the evening forecast, I'll do it. Kevin.Gregory at WRTV.com, and we'll be happy to stroll the neighborhood. Temperatures in the 20s with a few flurries. As we go through the overnight, watch what happens. 1 o'clock in the morning, I stop this eastern Indiana with the most additional very light snow and snow showers as far as accumulation. Half an inch, maybe in an isolated spot. You could see an inch overnight. Don't be caught off guard in the morning. You know what that's like. Just a little bit of snow can make for slick conditions. Temperatures will barely climb above the freezing mark again during the day tomorrow, but we will, and we'll end the snow showers only to see those repeated tomorrow night. High temperatures tomorrow, about average for this time of the year, actually a little bit below. Then tomorrow night into Saturday morning, we'll see another spike in snow chances. Watch will play out overnight into Saturday morning. That's what we wake up with, and then that will push to the east. We'll continue with some spotty areas of snow on Saturday. And once again, this may be a little more widespread, but as far as accumulating snow, inch or less seems to be the best way to kind of portray that activity, which impacts your Saturday. Sunday, some rain as temperatures come back up, 40 degrees. Temperatures next week warming to 40 or above. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. That's warm enough for rain Wednesday and Thursday.
Did you find out what it was?
Not yet. I'll go through the history.
He just fits right in your pocket. All right, Oscar.
Never know when you need an Oscar.
All right. Thanks, Kevin, for that. A downtown landmark is going away, but just for a little while. Why the Ayers clock is set to be removed. Next.
Airing Hoosiers only on RTV6.
And Indianapolis Landmark needs some more work.
The Ayers clock will undergo a second round of repairs to be restored so that it can last for future generations. The first round took place in 2016. The 10,000-pound clock will be removed later this month for the work. Crews will need to inspect it before they can say how long the project will take. But officials hope to have it back in place for the holidays. That's the perch for the cherub during the Christmas season. The clock has been at the corner of Washington and Meridian Streets since 1936. I can't believe how much that weighs.
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. But it'll be great to have it back in place.
Absolutely. Tonight at 6, team coverage in the shooting deaths of 4 young adults.
We are working to find out about the victims, give context about what happened, and what's now being asked of you. Plus,
a condo owner files a class action lawsuit saying her association wrongly charged her attorney's fees. I'm Call 6 investigates Kara Kenny with why she says it can happen to you too.
But first on the Now Indy, hoping to put smiles on kids' faces at some of the worst times of their lives, the Indiana girl who saw a need and did something about it. You're watching RTV6.